Welcome back, Heartland fans. You're watching Next Door, your go-to channel for everything Heartland, where we dive deep into the stories, emotions, and characters you love. Emma here, and I'm going to talk about a very special episode today. It's one that fans have been waiting for years for, and it adds an incredible twist to the beloved story. Yes, we are talking about Ty Borden's grand return in Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. That's right, Ty is finally back. Not as a spirit, not in a nightmare, but in the flesh. This changes everything. We'll go over how the show set up his return, Amy's heartbreaking reaction, Lindy's innocent but powerful connection to her dad, Jack's profound wisdom, Lou's conflicted feelings, Georgie's development, and Tim's tough love in this video. And of course, we'll dive into a deeply emotional private conversation between Ty and Amy that might just leave you in tears. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment with your favorite Ty Borden memory, and sign up for Next Door for more heartfelt Heartland stories before we start. Ready? Let's jump into the most powerful episode in years. To truly feel the weight of Ty Borden's return, we have to start with his past. Ty was Heartland's soul, not just a character. Fans knew he was special from the moment he arrived at the ranch as a troubled teen with a criminal record. We watched Ty develop as a person and not just as a horse whisperer or vet over time. He became a devoted husband and father after developing strong bonds with Amy and Jack. His love story with Amy was one of the most beautiful and slow burn romances on television. They were there for each other through triumphs, dreams, loss, and fear. So when Ty suddenly died in Season 14 due to complications from a gunshot wound, it felt like the air had been ripped out of the show. One of the most heartbreaking scenes in the history of Heartland still occurs when Amy realizes he has passed away while sitting next to her. His death didn't just affect Amy or Lindy. It affected each and every character, as well as the audience as a whole. As Amy raised Lindy on her own, we witnessed her attempt to rebuild her life piece by piece. We saw Jack step up as her rock. Lou concentrated on maintaining order. Tim had guilt issues. Georgie had to expand earlier than anticipated. But even as the seasons passed, Ty's spirit never really left. Every mention of him was like a wound that hadn't fully healed, but his legacy remained strong. That's why, when rumors began swirling that Season 19 might bring him back, fans everywhere held their breath. Could it be true? Could Heartland really give us one more chapter in Ty's story? Season 19, Episode 1 opens like any other with the sweeping beauty of the Alberta landscape, the ranch bathed in golden morning light, and Amy on horseback. But right away, there's a quiet intensity in the atmosphere. Something is off about it. Careful editing is used. An old photograph of Ty falls off the mantel, as if pushed by fate, providing us with subtle clues. Something that Amy is unable to explain causes her to pause and look into the distance. A pickup truck with a familiar silhouette in the driver's seat appears in the distance. It appears to be a mental illusion at first. He is, however, when the truck enters Heartland and the door opens. Ty Borden. Not in a flashback. Not as a memory. Alive and real. The given explanation is shocking, but carefully constructed. Ty did not pass away. After testifying against dangerous individuals connected to the gun incident, he was placed under witness protection. To ensure the safety of Amy and Lindy, the authorities had to stage his death. Ty had no choice. He has longed for his family even though he has been living under a new identity for years. But the danger has passed, and he is now finally at home. The camera captures his first few moments back at Heartland, walking across the ranch, touching the barn walls, looking at the jumping ring where Amy trained. It's emotional, understated, and powerful. The moment Ty sees Amy is then the one we all awaited. The way Amy reacted to Ty's return is exactly what fans expected. She freezes in disbelief at first. Her face goes pale. Tears well up in her eyes. It's as if time stops. She moves slowly toward him, each step uncertain, as though she is afraid he will vanish. Ty, she whispers, barely able to say his name. Ty looks at her, his own eyes glassy. "This is me, Amy." When they finally embrace, it's not traumatic. It's fragile. Her hands tremble on his back. Her tears soak his shirt. It's not just the joy of seeing him again, it's the pain of all the years lost. She pulls back and recollects everything as she looks at his face. "You were dead," she whispers. "I buried you." Ty shakes his head slowly. "I never stopped thinking about you. I never stopped loving you." Over the next scenes, we see Amy struggle with a mix of emotions: relief, joy, anger, sadness. She clutches Ty's old flannel shirt to her chest after finding it in a box. She goes through their old photos. She watches Lindy sleep and wonders how to explain it all to her. It's a raw portrayal of love lost and found. She doesn't just welcome Ty with open arms, she processes the pain, the years without him, the strength she had to build. It's emotional, honest, and incredibly human. Perhaps the most emotional scene in the episode is when Lindy meets her father, not in a dream, but in real life. When Lindy enters the barn, she notices a man standing next to Amy. She stops and looks at him with wide eyes. Amy kneels beside her. "Sweetheart, this is your dad." Lindy's lips tremble. "But Daddy's in the sky," she says quietly, echoing what Amy must have told her as a child. Ty kneels, tears already falling. "I had to go away to keep you safe, but I never stopped loving you." Lindy takes a few steps forward. There's a long pause. And then she runs into his arms. Ty whispers to her how much he's missed her and how proud he is of her as he wraps her in the tightest hug possible. Lindy's innocence, her joy, her trust it all makes this reunion absolutely unforgettable. It's not just a father-daughter moment. It's the healing of a child's heart that had never fully understood why her dad was gone. The heart and soul of Heartland is Jack Bartlett, and the way he reacts to Ty's return imparts the insight and emotional depth that only he can. From the moment Jack sees Ty step onto the porch, there's an unspoken weight between them. Jack doesn't rush to hug Ty or even speak immediately. Instead, he stands still for a moment, assessing, processing. In that silence, you can almost feel the years of hurt, love, and history between these two men. When Jack does finally speak, he does so with the calm, low wisdom of someone who has been through everything life has to offer. He looks at Ty and says, "You've got a lot of explaining to do, son. But you're here. What matters is that..." Jack's response is not one of anger, though he certainly has every right to be upset. Instead, it's a quiet acceptance, a recognition that life is complicated and people make mistakes, sometimes bigger ones than others. Jack, always the protector of his family, immediately reassures Ty that no matter what happened, his return is what counts. There's no need for harsh words or accusations, just understanding. Jack plays a crucial role in this reunion because he provides everyone around him with a solid foundation. Ty has the space he needs to reclaim his place in the family, thanks to his quiet strength and refusal to let the past control the present. Jack takes Ty aside later in the episode to have a private conversation with him. Sitting in the barn, the two of them share a drink. Jack, without much fanfare, says, "Heartland's been through a lot, Ty. But somehow, we always come back to each other. That's the only thing that matters." The beauty of this moment is that Jack isn't lecturing or offering unsolicited advice. He's simply stating a truth he's learned over the years, that family and home have a way of mending even the deepest wounds. Jack's emotional depth lies in his ability to understand that Ty's journey is part of the bigger story of life and healing. Through Jack's eyes, Ty's return is a chance to start anew, even after all that's happened. It's a time of forgiveness that feels deserved rather than hastened. In addition, the family is held together by Jack's wisdom as they confront this incredible and unexpected return. Lou's reaction to Ty's return is one of the most complicated and nuanced moments of the episode. She's thrilled to see Ty again, of course, who wouldn't be after years of wondering and grieving. However, Amy and Lindy's years of suffering during Ty's absence are the source of Lou's conflict. She is deeply protective of her sister and niece, and has been the one to hold the family together during their most vulnerable moments. Therefore, when she first sees Ty, she experiences a mix of anger, confusion, and relief in addition to joy. When Lou confronts Ty, her words are sharp but full of emotion. "Do you even understand what you put Amy through?" she asks, her voice trembling with pent-up frustration. "What happens to Lindy? She grew up without a father. We had to pick up the pieces while you were gone, while you were pretending to be dead." It's clear that Lou's anger stems from a place of love. She's furious on behalf of her sister and niece, who have suffered so much. But Lou's rage begins to change as the episode goes on. She watches Amy begin to soften around Ty, witnessing the love that's still there, the healing that's beginning to take place. And Lou, despite her reservations, starts to see that maybe this is exactly what Amy and Lindy need to move forward. Lou takes Ty aside a moment later in the episode. Since he returned, there is a weight in the air that has settled between them. She takes a moment to pause before scanning his face with her eyes, the face of a man she once regarded as a member of her family, but is now a stranger who has emerged from the haze of memory. She finally speaks, her voice shaking with emotion, despite her initial hesitation. "I have no idea. I'm willing to try to forgive you for the pain you caused, but I don't know how." Amy's behalf to Lindy. "I just want them to succeed. And I believe that means giving you a chance right now." There's no theatrical embrace, no sweeping resolution, just a quiet honesty, raw and vulnerable. Lou's conflict does not end in a single instant. Her absence and confusion over the years have left her heart still guarded and aching. She will take some time to fully process everything that has transpired. She has built a wall around herself, but in those few words, there is a gap, a glimpse of light. Her willingness to hope, to extend even a cautious hand toward reconciliation, speaks volumes about her growth. Lou has always been the one to keep things moving, the planner, the protector, the one who held the family together when everything else was falling apart. And now she's learning something new, how to trust again. Not just Ty, but the process of healing. While her response is grounded in reality, it also contains a fleeting hope for the future. She acknowledges the past doesn't excuse it, but believes, however tentatively, in the possibility of a different future. In contrast, George's personal reaction to Ty's return is shaped by a different kind of absence. She represents the younger generation, the ones who were shaped by stories, memories, and photographs, who grew up in the shadow of someone they loved but lost far too soon. Georgie saw Ty as more than just a role model when she was a child. He was a father figure, a guiding light during some of her darkest moments. He believed in her when she didn't believe in herself. He pushed her to be courageous, to embrace her talents, to fight for her dreams. However, Georgie is no longer that young child. She is now a young woman who has made her own way and is self-assured and independent. She's faced her own struggles, achieved her own victories, and found strength in herself. Seeing Ty again is like opening a time capsule. Memories rush in, overwhelming her with a sense of wonder, confusion, and pain. When Georgie first lays eyes on Ty, she freezes. The world seems to slow. The emotional gravity of the moment is so intense that she can't form words at first. She just stares, wide-eyed and with a mix of shock and sadness on her face. Finally, with trembling lips, she whispers, "I thought you had vanished." The simplicity of the statement, delivered with childlike innocence, carries the weight of all the years in between. It's a moment that silences the room, touching everyone present. Ty, his own eyes glistening with unshed tears, steps forward and pulls her into a hug, holding her as though trying to make up for all the lost time with one embrace. "I thought I'd never see you again," he says, voice cracking under the strain of emotion. Two souls reunited after years of silence and unanswered questions. Their connection is undeniable. But the power of the moment isn't just in the reunion. It's in Georgie's transformation. She's not the girl who needed Ty to carry her anymore. She's now strong enough to offer him the same support he once gave her. Later, as the sun sets, the two of them sit down together. Georgie looks at Ty, her voice steady but soft. "I've changed, Ty. I'm not the kid I was when you left. However, I still retain everything that you taught me. and I think it's time we both start living the lives we were meant to lead. This is more than a catch-up conversation. It is a declaration of development and a link between the past and the future. Not only does Georgie have strength in surviving without him, but she also has strength in her capacity to forgive, reflect, and enter a new chapter with compassion and clarity. She's offering Ty not just a second chance, but a chance to see who he was to her and who he can still become. Then comes the most emotional moment of the episode, Ty and Amy, alone at last. After the flurry of emotions, reunions, and impossible conversations, the ranch has quieted. Over them, a few soft stars blink. It's late, one of those peaceful nights that Heartland is known for. Two hearts trying to reconnect with one another, the distant sound of horses and the wind rustling through the trees. Amy breaks the silence, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't even know how to feel, Ty. Part of me wants to scream at you. Another part of me just wants to stay in your arms forever. I never imagined this. I figured I wouldn't see you again. Her words bring years of suffering, confusion, and loneliness to light, like a dam breaking. She doesn't hold back. She can't. This is the man she loved, the father of her child, and the ghost she's carried with her every single day since he disappeared. Ty reaches out, gently taking her hand in his. Although broken, his voice is full of longing. I never stopped thinking about you, Amy. Every day, I carried you with me. I never stopped loving you. I never wanted to leave. Amy pulls away slightly, her eyes brimming with tears. It was intended for you to be here. With me. With us. Lindy was raised by me alone. Ty, you weren't there. For her. For me. It's the truth, laid bare, no sugarcoating, no dramatics. Just hurt, expressed in the quietest, most devastating way. Ty's tears now flow freely. He nods slowly, the regret in his eyes piercing. I know. I'm sorry. I'll never be able to take back the years I missed. However, I promise to spend the rest of my life apologizing to you. I want to be the father Lindy deserves. The husband you ought to have. His words' vulnerability rings like a bell in the silence. It's not a promise of perfection. It is a cry for vengeance. And it's enough. Amy stares at him, her heart torn open, still raw, but underneath it all, there's love. Deep, enduring love. Additionally, a glimmer of hope that they just might, be able to reconnect. Let's take it one day at a time, Ty, she says. Take it one day at a time. And that's where the scene ends. Not with a dramatic kiss or a sweeping gesture, but with a shared understanding. A quiet commitment to try. To rebuild slowly. To begin again. The episode closes with a sense of hope. Although Ty and Amy's love has always been more than just romance, the road ahead will not be easy. Healing is never easy. It's been a bond forged through loss, triumph, and perseverance. Ty Borden's return in Season 19, Episode 1 wasn't just a plot twist, it was a moment of emotional truth. From raw, heart-wrenching reunions to glimpses of forgiveness and redemption, this episode gave fans what they've longed for: closure, healing, and the promise of new beginnings. Also, it's your turn now. What did you think? How did Ty's return make you feel? Were you surprised? Moved? Are you weeping? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow Heartland family, and hit that subscribe button on next door. For more deep dives, story breakdowns, and emotional updates from Season 19 and beyond. Until next time, keep believing in love, in healing, and in the power of coming home.